Hello and welcome to The Occasional Marksman. I'm Dave. That's me on the firing line with a newly found bang stick, this one being an 03A4. Now this rifle is not an original A4. It is a clone that was put together by Rock Ridge Machine Works out of Pennsylvania. The target on the lower left-hand corner of the frame is on the 100-yard line. The bullseye in the center is 3.5 inches long and 2.5 inches tall. The black lines around the bullseye are 1.25 inches in diameter each. For the opening shot of this video, I aimed at the bottom center of the target, and it struck the target in the 10 o'clock position, second outer ring. So the rifle was shooting high. For the second shot, I lowered the scope, gave it 5 clicks down. Each click on this particular scope is 1/2 inch at 100 yards. 5 clicks should have brought it down 2.5 inches. So even though the second round struck the third ring, it's actually closer to on mark because this time I was aiming at the bullseye as opposed to aiming at the bottom of the target as I did in the first shot. Going to try to make some adjustments to the scope to lower the point of impact again. We're going to encounter the biggest challenge with this scope are the tiny little knobs and the tension spring that holds them in place. You apply just enough pressure on that little knob trying to control the number of clicks you're getting out of it, and it'll just run away on you. You don't know if you get 3, 4, 5 clicks, but at least it's going in the right direction. Let's see where we end up. The serial number on the receiver tells me the rifle was born sometime in early September 1943 in the Remington factory. The date on the barrel tells me the rifle was rebuilt to its 04 configuration by Rock Ridge sometime after 2013. I have no idea where the rifle's been, what it's seen, what it's done between those two dates. After 2013, it sat in a plastic bag in a cardboard box until I purchased it last week. Okay, so we're kind of comfortable with the controls and the scope now. Let's go for not only a vertical adjustment, some horizontal action too. Grab that little tiny nub, apply a little pressure to control its movement, and no, we lose count. Unknown number of clicks, but it should be in the right direction.
4 inches to the right.
Ammunition used today is L&B M2 ball 30-06. It's their M1 Garand rifle ammunition, but it's the same Scooby Snacks World War II American snipers would have been feeding their 03A4s. There was no special ammo issued to snipers. Okay. Well, apparently it's not required I know how many clicks to adjust the horizontal plane. The rifle and the scope configure it for themselves, and I'm just along for the ride.
Let's give it 2 more to see where we're at. Hopefully the target camera is still awake.
This Remington 04 clone is so much fun. I'm happy to have it. About 10 years ago, there was 3 companies that were offering these clones up. There was Gibbs, James River Armory and Rock
Take
Ridge.
up that doesn't offend me.
I do not know if
There's
one
take-up.
or two of the companies were the manufacturers and supplied the others, or I haven't been able to find any records stating just how many of these clone rifles were produced. That'd be an interesting number
Still
to
trying
know.
to find a proper cheek rest for the scope.
So far, so good. Not bad for 5 rounds.
That shot was right on top of the 12 o'clock in the red. I really hope the target camera is still awake.
Yes, it's on. You can stop asking now. The fit and the finish of this Rock Ridge rifle is impressive. There's no awkward gapping between any of the metal furniture and the wooden stock. The barrel has the right amount of upflex. Even the butt plate, brand new and nicely blued. The trigger has a real gentle take up and not even a break when it drops. It's more of just a like squeezing a grape and it just gives way. I really like it. The bolt does stick a bit, but it's new. New refurbish. Expect it. In time it'll wear in, be as smooth as any old rifle.
Close to the
I mean,
center of the bullseye.
look at the finish on that stock. That's no GI dip it in linseed oil and send it on finish. It's got depth and tone, and it's actually very satiny smooth to touch. Just makes me happy. Someone put some attention to that. The scope on this rifle is a very nicely made replica by Hilux of the Weaver 330. The 2.5 power scope original to the A4.
We're on the high side.
The scope has clear optics, a sharp
lower it
crosshair, and to my surprise, no issue in low light situations. I was sure the small optics of this scope would have trouble in low light, but they don't. The scope, along with the mount and the rings, is still available from Hilux today. So if you want to build your own A4, the optics are just a credit card number away.
Definitely don't want to be manhandling the scope in a panic situation.
So I took the vertical down another couple of clicks. Yes, I'm in the bullseye, but I'm clipping the top half. Let's see if I can get it in the center and be comfortable there. Two clicks down, half inch a click at 100 yards,
Close to the center of the
1 inch
bull.
down, about where the bullet struck, maybe a little bit lower than an inch. Now I'm looking at it through my scope and I'm thinking, oh, I'd rather strike the target high than low. So I'm going to put the clicks back on. I'm going to raise it back up an inch.
One gentle click up.
After the very nice man in brown gave me the rifle in exchange for my signature, I spent several hours, Christmas morning-like joy, inspecting and caressing the wood and metal components that comprise the rifle. I began to wonder, how did the 03A4 come into being? What was the motivation and the considerations in its creation? Certainly not for shots that clip the bullseye at 100 yards. Sources are conflicting as to when the U.S. Army committed to ordering a sniper rifle. Some sources state it was done as early as January of '42. Other sources say it was done in January of 43.
It's in the red, but there's so many holes in that.
The initial order for Remington was 20,000 units. Later in June of 43, another number, an oddball number of 8,365 were ordered. So what gunsmithing magic did Remington pull to turn standard issue 03s into snipers? Not a lot. There was no tuning of 04 barrels, there was no special bedding of the stock, no polishing of the bolt or the chamber, no trigger job. For the most part, an 04 is simply an 03 with a scope attached. '04s were assembled without iron sights, which allowed the slender 330 scope to be mounted low to the rifle. A nice feature for fast sighting. Also because the small scope is so close to the rifle, there's not the impression the scope is reaching out with intent to snag web gear or bang off every hard surface you shuffle past on a long, exhausting road march. Additionally, the bolt handle was modified to allow a cycling of rounds without slapping it into the scope. And the last modification was relocating the rifle's serial numbers and manufacturer stamp, so they would not be concealed by the Redfield scope mount that held the weaver in place. Although they must be out there somewhere, I have yet to be able to find them. A list of specifications by the Army given to Remington that a sniper rifle must meet for acceptance. With so little alterations made to create a sniper's rifle from a standard issue military rifle, to me can only mean one of two things. The U.S. Army considered the Remington-made 03 rifle of such high quality that any one of them off the rack with the addition of a scope is a qualified sniper's weapon. But then, on the other side of the coin, the U.S. Army High Command could have simply have wanted a quick and inexpensive fix to placate frontline troops' request for a sniper's rifle. So they order Remington to mount a readily available and low-cost scope to 03s, and presto, the U.S. Army has a sniper's weapon. Again, I'm just dealing in theory because I have yet to find any documentation for the specifications of a sniper rifle from the U.S. Army in the early 1940s. And with that being said, in early 1943, the U.S. Army was on the offensive. And to me, the 03A4 feels like a sniper's weapon of an army on the attack. Equipped with a small scope that under field conditions is more easily protected from damage than a larger, more powerful scope could be. The 04 feels like a sniper's rifle designed to move forward with attacking troops and place well-aimed shots into firing slits of pillboxes or pick off exposed enemies at distances of 300 yards or less. This is not a defensive scoped weapon, meant to be used from a stationary sniper's nest by a man in a ghillie suit waiting for an advancing foe to walk into his kill zone. I know the A4 is capable of bullseye shots up to 600 yards. I've seen it done time and again at CMP Nationals. And I'm sure the A4 has been used to ambush an unexpected enemy countless times. But that does not seem to be the intent for a sniper rifle with a 2.2 power scope. That's the setup for a sniper that's firing and maneuvering with the infantry, placing well-aimed shots at short to medium range to allow the infantry to maneuver and advance another 300 yards. This sniper clone both looks and shoots great. I'm really happy to have it. But there was a time I considered A3s and A4s corner cut and cheap knockoffs of the A1, which they kind of are. But I've grown to appreciate the A3s and A4s for their unique physical characteristics. And also equally important, the rifle's place in history.